I'd like to start by reminding you the title of the chapter of this week, Changing Centers of Power, on our textbook. So I think it's necessary to first think about what makes a state powerful, and second of all, what makes these powers changes, shifts, moves, dwindle, or rise. Because this is the case in East Asia after the collapse of the Han. We have this very powerful state, Han state in China. But after the Han state fell, the mainland right here fell into a civil war. 50 years of civil war, different regional states, different regional power, rise and fall, until it kind of like stabilized a little bit. But because the territory it controls, these states controlled are much smaller than the Han, and then more united Han, their power also dwindled, right? Also the power also decreases, and it was, but during this time, the stronger states, during this time in the Korea Peninsula, we see some stronger states taking over the place, which is what we call the Three Kingdom period. We have Goguryeo, we have the Baekje, we have the Silla, three states, right, sharing the peninsula at the time. And also at the Japanese archipelago, we've moved from the Jomon period, the rope pattern period, the Jomon period, into Yayoi and Kofun period, also relatively united states. And the power shifts a little bit from central mainland to across the peninsula to Korea, and across the ocean to Japan. And along with this shifting of the power, this changing centers of power, it's the tangible things and the intangible things that moved with this shift of power, right? What could be the tangible things? The goods, the resources, the more luxurious things, right? Through trade, focuses more to the more powerful states, right? Used to be in Chang'an, right? The Han dynasty used to be right here in Chang'an. Now maybe the flow of the goods, the center of the trade might move a little bit to eastward, right? How about some intangible things like the Buddhism, like religion, like cultures, like fashion, or like aesthetics, you name it, right? These intangible things also moves, right? Take Buddhism as an example. I've moved from China to Korea and Japan. First, Buddhism attracted the elite classes in those areas, and then later disseminated even wider and wider. And in China, we see that royal court is kind of shranked, and the decreasing power, they moved to a little bit south, right? And established their capital in Nanjing, but that's where they were able to preserve, all the elites preserve the court tastes, the royal tastes, and continue to develop poetry, calligraphy, and painting with court standard, with elite standard. Whereas in the northern part, the refugees all over the places, and the state was trying to use Buddhism, was trying to advocate Buddhism to control the area. And that turned this area, East Asia, into a whole new situation. And yes, of course, we've entered into a new phase for the East Asia, and we're going to talk about those things. We can talk about the calligraphy, for example, in the elite taste. We're going to talk about the tombs and the murals in those Korea and Japan. We're going to get to know their lives and their ritual.